What if the Earth stopped spinning? For just 5 seconds? It's not forever, not for a minute, just 5 seconds. Would we even notice? Or would everything change instantly? The Earth spins at approximately 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. Right now, as you're watching this, you are moving at that speed. And you don't feel it, because everything around you is moving with it. The air, the oceans, the buildings, your body. Everything shares the same momentum. But what if that motion suddenly stopped for 5 seconds and then resumed? Let's break it down. If Earth suddenly stopped rotating instantly, inertia would take over. Inertia is the tendency of objects in motion to stay in motion. That means everything not firmly attached to bedrock would continue moving east at the same speed Earth was spinning. At the equator, that's over 1,600 kilometers per hour. Cars would slide, people would be thrown, oceans would surge forward, the atmosphere would continue moving, creating winds faster than the most violent hurricanes ever recorded. Buildings not engineered for lateral force would collapse. The devastation would not be uniform. Equator would experience the most violent effects. Closer to the poles, the rotational speed is slower, so the impact would be less extreme. But still catastrophic. Now let's imagine something slightly different. What if Earth gradually stopped over 5 seconds instead of instantly? That deceleration would still be extreme. To go from full rotational speed to 0 in 5 seconds would create enormous global shockwaves. Tectonic stress would shift. Earthquakes could be triggered. The redistribution of water would create mega-tsunamis. Because here's something many people don't realize. The Earth's rotation actually shapes our oceans. The equatorial bulge exists because centrifugal force pushes water outward. If Earth stopped spinning, that bulge would collapse. Water would begin flowing toward the poles. Entire coastlines would shift. New land would emerge near the equator. Massive flooding would occur toward higher latitudes. Let's talk about the atmosphere. The air moves with the Earth's rotation. If the ground stopped but the atmosphere kept moving, winds could reach thousands of kilometers per hour, stronger than any storm in recorded history. Dust, debris, and ocean spray would fill the sky. Visibility would collapse. Temperature systems would destabilize. Jet streams would distort. Weather patterns would enter chaos. But here's the part that gets even more interesting. If Earth stopped spinning permanently, day and night would completely change. Currently, Earth rotates once every 24 hours. If rotation stopped but Earth continued orbiting the sun, one side would face sunlight for months. The other side would experience months of darkness. Surface temperatures would swing dramatically. One hemisphere would heat, the other would freeze. Climate systems as we know them would collapse. Now, let's return to the 5-second scenario. Would humanity survive? Possibly, but only in limited regions. Areas closer to the poles would experience less horizontal force. Deep underground structures might remain intact, but global infrastructure would suffer massive damage. Power grids, air travel, communication systems, transportation, everything depends on stable planetary motion. Satellites orbit Earth based on predictable rotational and gravitational behavior. Sudden rotational changes could alter orbital dynamics. Navigation systems would malfunction. Global positioning would destabilize. Now consider something else. Earth's magnetic field. It is partially influenced by the motion of molten iron in the outer core. While short-term surface rotation changes might not immediately shut down the magnetic field, long-term rotational changes could influence geodynamics. And without a stable magnetic field, Earth becomes vulnerable to solar radiation. But let's zoom out further. Why does Earth spin at all? Because of angular momentum from its formation 4.5 billion years ago. When the solar system formed from a rotating cloud of gas and dust, conservation of angular momentum caused everything to spin. Earth has been rotating ever since. Nothing in physics suggests it would suddenly stop without external force. For Earth to stop spinning, an enormous external torque would be required. Perhaps a massive collision, or gravitational interaction beyond anything currently observed. And such an event would likely destroy far more than just rotational motion. So realistically, Earth will not suddenly stop spinning for 5 seconds. But asking the question reveals something powerful. We rarely think about the stability we depend on. We assume the ground beneath us is constant, permanent, predictable, yet we live on a rotating sphere, moving through space at extraordinary speed, orbiting the sun at about 107,000 kilometers per hour. And the solar system itself moves through the galaxy at even greater velocity, all while we sit still in a chair. 5 seconds of interruption would remind us how fragile our systems are, how dependent we are on invisible forces, and how finely balanced our planet truly is. Sometimes the most powerful questions are not about whether something will happen, but about understanding why it doesn't. Earth keeps spinning, quietly, reliably, second after second, and most of us never think about it, till we imagine what happens if it stops. Follow Unfolded Depth for truths that stay with you.